the signals, goes back to throw. Now looks to take off and run. Elway inside the 10 and dives over the 5-yard line. Great play. Great play by John Elway. Just phenomenal.
Check swing roller. Tulowitzki. Colorado's the National League champion.
Jokic has to put it up. Falling away, puts it up. Bang! Nikola Jokic knocks it down. His foot was on the line. A two-pointer. What a shot.
Welcome in, everybody, to Talkin BS with your host, Zamora. Back at it again. Welcome, welcome. Happy New Year. We're bringing in a new year tonight. Let's go. 2023 was a pretty good year for us, obviously, as Nuggets fans. Our first ever NBA championship. But it was also a good year on a personal note. A good year at work. Lost some weight. Actually went through on last year's resolution, which was pretty cool. So I just wanted to say thank you guys, everybody. I also started this show because of you guys, and I appreciate everything you guys do. Appreciate the support and the love I get every day from you guys. It's awesome, for real, from the bottom of my heart. So just want to say I'm thankful for starting this show in 2023 and being around with you guys, and you guys always giving me your great feedback and everything like that. So I appreciate you very, very much. With that said, let's get into the show, right? You already know what it is. At Box State Boys 303 for any show updates. Go ahead and follow me at Zamora BSB. Let's get into it. Clips of the week, baby.
He's always in the right spot. Can shoot. His in-between game is good. Porter Jr. soaring to the rack. Even with some pieces coming back soon for Golden State. Caldwell Pope connects on a three. Curry, great look. Trace Jackson Davis gets denied at the rim by Porter. Here's Caldwell Pope. He got it. See Reggie Jackson in off the bench for the Nuggets. Having the impactful renaissance as Watson slams it down on a gorgeous delivery from Jokic.
So if you can't keep one of them in, that definitely hurts your second unit.
Little two-man action. Murray, Jokic, Murray on the fall-away. Timeout, Golden State.
That's what Kuminga has done such a great job of.
Murray backing down Pajimski. Murray able to finish. Murray accelerates and flushes it home. 20 points for Wiggins. He has 10 in the quarter. Murray, a three. You bet! 6-point game. Jokic now 18 of 18 from the line, a career high in free throws made. Here's Thompson, blocked by Porter. A full 6-10 in the corner.
And now Payton will bring it up. Now Murray backs up. Three ball. You got it. Out to Reggie Jackson. Jokic gonna hoist. He does. And he nails it at the buzzer.
43 or 48 games of shooting 18 free throws.
But now the Nuggets starters are back in. Peyton Watson is left wide open and he drills the three. And get their biggest lead, I should say. Porter shaking and baking. Well, the Nuggets had their biggest lead of the night, 17 points.
Well, it's getting dirty and physical, and the officials better be careful.
Watson sets. High archer. Yes!
And Joker told him he'd missed a couple.
The Nuggets get a reset here. 5 to shoot. Reggie Jackson. There it is. Haven't seen much of that since the Nuggets were at the Clippers about 3 weeks ago. Then DNP coach's decision, 22 of 24 games since, but he's a good player. Been averaging 23 and a half in G League play. A little matador defense by Conchar. On the run, he'll bring it back out. Holmgren challenging, and Jokic knocked it out of his hands. Now Giddey with it. Giddey around everybody. Oh, he's rejected.
Only guy that has scored off the bench.
Strother for 3. Nails it.
There you go. 1 of 5 going after that first quarter now.
Chris Marlowe, Scott Hastings, Vic Lombardi. Thunder playing a nearly perfect game so far as Reggie Jackson over to DeAndre Jordan. See if the Nuggets can close out the period with a bucket. Jokic in the lane. And the hook shot is good. 15 for Nikola Jokic. Nuggets got to start firing on all cylinders. And Jokic is away. Nice pass, Murray. Threading the needle. He's got it. A 16-footer, no. DeAndre Jordan, yes.
Welcome back. This week we're about halfway through the season, which is crazy. I was thinking about that when I was doing the math on this. So the Nuggets, I believe, are at 34 games in. So I wanted to go through. We have a very big sample size. We know what teams are going to be good, what teams are going to be bad for the most part. There are still some mysteries, right? Like the Grizzlies, like where are they going to end up? You know, they've lost all these games because Ja wasn't around. Can the Pelicans turn it around, right? Can Zion start taking stuff a little bit more seriously, and can he bring it back? The Clippers are starting to mesh, right? You got James Harden in there cooking with those guys. So, like, there's a lot of stuff still to figure out, but we do have a pretty good sample size. So I thought we would break it down. Let's get a new power rankings in for all you guys. Okay, so we're going to start at the bottom. Now, these are the bottom 5 teams, in my opinion. These are teams that are bad right now and need to rebuild, or teams that are obviously already rebuilding and they just need to keep the process going. These teams are tanking. They're going to be losing a lot of games this year. We're talking about the Portland Trailblazers, right? Scoot Henderson has not had a great rookie season so far, but he has a lot of talent. I think he's going to be a really good player one day. And they have a lot of options, right? You can go and you can trade a guy like Jeremy Grant. If Ayton doesn't work out, you can trade Ayton away. If you want Ayton, you can keep Ayton. They have a lot of flexibility going forward. Next up, we got the Washington Wizards, right? You got Jordan Poole, you got Kyle Kuzma, Daniel Gafford, a lot of Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones is on the trading block. As it seems the other day, seen a report saying that Washington was willing to trade him away. Next up, we got the Charlotte Hornets. They're on a losing streak right now, but just objectively, they are a bad team. They don't have a lot of talent on that roster. They're honestly, it took them like 4 years to find a center. Now they got a decent center, but the rest of the roster isn't that good. LaMelo Ball is a good player. I think he can be a winning player, right? I do think that, I know a lot of people don't believe that, but I think he can be a winning player in the NBA. He's a smart kid. He knows how to pass the ball. He's a great ball handler. He can run the point in the NBA in a good system with the right team around him. So I don't put a lot of the blame on him. I just think that roster really is not that talented. Then we got the Detroit Pistons. Detroit basketball, really bad right now. Really bad. Just ended a 28-game losing streak, setting a record in the NBA, which is wild. So Oscar Thompson, they got some pieces. Jalen Duren, a couple pieces I really like on that team. But they just got to get it working the right way. San Antonio Spurs, Wemby. I like Devin Vassell. I like Jeremy Sohan. And the rest of their team's pretty good, but the league is deep these days. The play-in hopefuls. These teams are pretty bad, but they're not out of it yet. We're almost halfway through. But a philosophy of mine in any type of competitive environment is whatever happens in the first half can easily happen in the second half. These teams, it's possible to flip their seasons around and get these things going. Some of them more likely are going to be, going the other direction and selling off pieces. We already seen a trade from Toronto where they traded OG Anunoby to get a little younger. So we'll see where they go from here, but this is our next tier, right? We got New Orleans. The Pelicans just need Zion and Brandon Ingram to get it together. They need to lead that team because 3 through 15, that is one of the most talented rosters in the NBA. They should not be this bad. The Utah Jazz, probably one of those teams that are going to be selling off. I've seen a lot of reports about the Jazz looking into a Lauri Markkanen trade. Personally, I think it would be smart to keep him just because, you don't find 7-foot guys that can handle and shoot and score the way he can. And it's not like he's going to completely, like he's not going to win you games single-handedly. So keep him, because it makes, what are you going to do? Go out and find a different 25-year-old 7-footer who scores for you like that? Like, eventually you're going to need a guy who can put the ball in the bucket, right? Chicago, the Bulls are a team I've been waiting for them to just sell off already, man, because ever since they got the news that Lonzo Ball was going to be out for years, they should have sold off. That team would not have the same chemistry, the same charisma that it had when Lonzo was there. They were built on an identity of defense, of pesky guards, go out and make life hell for the offense. They just don't have that identity anymore, even with Caruso. Brooklyn is such a weird team to me. Cam Thomas gets buckets. Mikal Bridges is a very good defender. I think he could be like a 2 or a 3 on a good championship team. He kind of was a 3 in Phoenix, got them to a championship. He was younger. I think he's learned a lot being the number 1 in Brooklyn for now. And so maybe he could be like a number 2 in that area. But like, to me, they're a couple pieces away from becoming a real actual good team, which is why they're all the way down here. Toronto, they just traded away OG Anunoby to the New York Knicks. They got some youth in RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. Quickly is kind of the kind of guard that they need and have always kind of needed since Kyle Lowry started getting kind of old. All right, so let's go on to the next tier. Cleveland Cavaliers. They're just going through injuries right now, but it is going to hurt them through this season. Is Donovan Mitchell going to stay? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. I think he's eventually going to want to leave Cleveland. That's just me. You let me know what you think. The Houston Rockets. Now, that's a fun team. Jalen Green hasn't lived up to the hype as much yet, but Alperen Şengün has taken over as the number 1 on that team. He's done a fantastic job this year. Amen Thompson has a lot of potential. Jabari Smith Jr. I love Tari Eason. He's one of my favorite players. Jayshawn Tate is really good. They have a lot of good pieces. Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks. Like, these guys came in and really turned that program around. Next up, we got the Golden State Warriors. Stephen Curry and company. That's basically what it is nowadays. Steph Curry with a bunch of guys. Draymond is suspended. We'll see when he gets back. He wasn't playing amazing anyway. Klay Thompson's hit or miss every night. Pods is pretty good. He's starting to come around, but he's a rookie. So they got a lot of pieces over there. They are a smaller team. I would like to see them try to condense some of that young talent, right? Like a Moody or something, and see if you can get another big guy in there. I think at the end of the day, they're going to be around this area, right? Where we're right in between, like going for a playoff spot and trying to fight for a play-in. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies, this is an interesting one, right? Ja Morant just came back on December 19th, I believe it was. And they had won 4 straight games until he got sick and they played Denver and then they lost a game. But Ja Morant's a good player. Ja Morant is a damn good player. You can see how much better the Grizzlies are with just him on the court, man. I respect that so much. Like, Ja Morant is the leader of the team. He is the heart of the team. He is the best player. He is the heart. He is the fire on that team. Like, we're lucky as Nuggets fans because we have Jokic as our best player and then Jamal is like the fire of the team. You know what I'm saying? So if like one misses, we still have one or the other. They're missing both when Jaw is out. Like, that team is lifeless without him. Those games suck when he doesn't play. We'll see where they end up. I think they can make it into the playoffs, but they have a very long road to go. So the Atlanta Hawks. I had so much hope for Atlanta, man. I thought Atlanta was going to be good this year. I did. I look stupid now. They're bad. DeJounte and Trey, they need to split them up. I need DeJounte out of there. You got Jalen Johnson, right? You got Onyeka Okongwu. You got AJ Griffin, right? Like, there's so many of these good pieces on that team. It just doesn't come together. All right, we're getting to the nitty gritty, baby. All right, let's get into our next five. First, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder. Just coming off a win against our Denver Nuggets. That is a good team. I like their team. Playoff time, though, that's why they're not in this upper echelon, man. Playoff time, they're not going to be there, right? Playoff time, they're going to be in the playoffs, but they're not going to be a team you really have to worry about. Jokic will score 100 straight points on Chet Holmgren at the end of the day if he has to. They've won 3 out of 4 games against us in each of the past 2 seasons. They're a problem. I understand that, but not yet. Next up, the Phoenix Suns. I have them all the way down here. I don't like the Suns. I never liked the Suns. I never thought that team was good. I never thought they were going to be good. A lot of people will probably have him higher. Sue me. Like, I understand. Kevin Durant, love him. Think he's a great player. He's not who he used to be. Devin Booker is not that dude, especially not in the playoffs. Like, I like his game. I think he's good for the regular season, but he's like a smaller Embiid, basically. He's like, he puts up a bunch of buckets and relies on calls and stuff like that to get in points. And like, at the end of the day, that's not playoff basketball, and you're not going to win with that. And then they don't have a point guard. They're relying on Nurkic as a big man. Like, it's just a bad plan. The New York Knicks. That is a team I do like. Jalen Brunson is the man. I love Jalen Brunson. He's got a guy on the side of him that will take on all those hard assignments. Not that RJ was a bad defender, but this is definitely a big upgrade. Now we got the Indiana Pacers. Runner-up for the in-season tournament. I know. But they haven't been looking good since then. At the end of the day, I think this is about where they were going to be anyway, right? I think they got off to a good hot start. I think they got some good numbers, but teams are trying to figure out that this is the style of ball they play, that they're fast and they don't play defense. And to me, at the end of the day, I love Tyrese Haliburton. I think he could be a Hall of Fame player one day. I think he has a lot of potential. I think he could be one of the best players in the league. He could be an MVP one day, in my opinion. High praise, right? I just don't think he can be like your whole team, right? I don't think you can't do that nowadays, right? Even Jokic, right? Jokic is the best offensive player in the league. Like, he needs a Jamal Murray. He needs outlets. He needs a Michael Porter Jr., right? He needs outlets to be able to help him out when a team just focuses purely on Jokic, right? Now we get into one of my favorite teams, man. I'm excited for this because this is the Orlando Magic. Orlando's good, man. Orlando's really good. Come playoff time, the reason I don't have them here is because my next area, right? You'll see it in a second. But it's another level up. And I don't have them in that next level. They're right here. I think this is appropriate because come playoff time, they need experience, right? I don't think they've ever been to the playoffs with this team. I don't think Franz has ever been there. Paulo's ever been there, or Wendell Carter. But they got a lot of talent on that team. I really love the Orlando Magic. All right, baby. We getting into it. We're getting into the nitty gritty. These are the contenders, okay? We're getting into the contender territory. The Kings 2-man game is going to set them apart from a lot of teams. Last year, they were the best offensive team in the league. This year, they're a little bit lower, but they're still a very good offense. De'Aaron Fox missed some time at the beginning of the year. That's another big factor. He's averaging nearly 30 points a game this year. Sabonis is a really good big. He's a great compliment to Fox. Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, like so many good players on that team. I think the Kings are going to be really good. They're one of the teams Denver especially is going to have to worry about. Now, everybody in Nuggets Nation's favorite, the LA Clippers. Lil Bruh and them. They're actually looking really good. I have them in contenders because they're starting to look really good. They got James Harden going. He's in his happy phase, right? He's in his mode where he's like happy with the team for the first 6 months. So he's playing pretty good. Kawhi is playing Kawhi basketball. Paul George is understanding his role. He's kind of taking the back seat and he's letting everybody else kind of do their thing. Luckily for us, it's not playoff time. And by the time the playoffs come around, about half of their big four are probably going to be hurt. Next up, the LA Lakers. I do have them pretty high, even though I hate them. At the end of the day, it's the Lakers. Somebody's going to get bought out. They're going to get them. Somebody's going to want to trade. They're going to get them. Probably going to get somebody for a lower price than any other team would. I just, they're going to get better by the end of the year. So you take that into account, and they're still like on my fourth ring. So, it's not super high or anything. And I do believe in LeBron. A lot of people don't like LeBron. I don't like LeBron personally. Like, I don't like it. He's corny to me, but he is one of the best players in the world still. And I acknowledge that, especially come playoff time. That is his stuff. I'll give AD this. He's actually a playoff riser for the most part. He got torn apart by Jokic, of course, right? But like for the most part, AD does play pretty good in the playoffs. Dallas Mavericks. Let me just say, man, Luka's that boy. Luka is dirty, man. Personally, this year, I might have Luka number 2 for me right now in the world. At the end of the day, I think you can count on Jokic better in come playoff time and, when it really matters and stuff. So I still have Jokic number 1. But Luka is right there, man. Like, better than Giannis. He's playing better than Steph. He's playing better than all these guys. You add in Kyrie. He's got backup scoring option, somebody else who can help with the pressure, right? Like how I was saying about Jokic and them earlier. You got Josh Green, who can handle the guards. You've got Grant Williams, who can handle some of the bigger forwards in the league. Derek Lively has come around. He's looking pretty good. So they got a lot of young pieces that are looking really good and helping that team a lot. So one more tier up. We're going to go 3 more teams, and then I'll reveal my last 3 for you guys. Right here, we got the Philadelphia 76ers. Tyrese Maxey, I'm a big fan of. There's a lot of good players on that team now. And somewhat to the Lakers, right? They can get somebody else. They just got picks for Harden. They got some young guys they could trade away. At the end of the day, Philly could get better, and they're already one of the better teams in the league. Minnesota Timberwolves, they're the number 1 team in the West right now. It kind of feels disrespectful to have them as the third, on the third row, but I still don't put them above the 2 teams that are above them here. Just as far as like playoff experience and stuff like that. So I do love Ant though. Ant is a killer, and at the end of the day, I think they could beat Denver in a series. I don't think they will, but I think if you simulated it 100 times, I think Denver wins 60% of the time, which is a lot less than they would against some of the other teams. With that said, the Miami Heat. Miami's really good this year. They're actually way better than they were last year, and last year they went to the finals. A lot of teams disrespect them, or a lot of people disrespect them because they're not a flashy team or anything like that, but they are a very good team. Jaime Jaquez is coming in, playing really good for those guys, adds a little bit more to that team, which is crazy because they were already a really good team, and everybody else is just playing really well. And Jimmy is Jimmy, man. This is kind of based off playoffs, right? This is like contenders and stuff like that. Like Jimmy's different. Jimmy's him. And here we go. Top 3. Let's get into it. So Boston, we all know. Drew Holiday, Derek White, Kristaps Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. The only 5-man in the league that can contend with the Nuggets. Their GM's done a wonderful job there, man. He really has. And they still have some depth pieces. And they're going to be a good team. They're a really, really, really good team. At the end of the day, I don't believe in Tatum. That's my one thing is like he goes and he takes like really contested shots all the time. And at the end of the day, that's not going to win in the NBA. But Milwaukee is the other one on this lower ring. The defense has gotten better, right? They threw Brook back in a drop. Spoke about this before, but the defense has gotten a little bit better. They're just not a great defensive team anyway. They could go out and find somebody on the buyout market or in a trade, and they can get much better. But, how much better can they get? I'm not sure without they're already in with Dame and Giannis. Like, unless they trade Middleton for, an upgrade, I don't see how they get much better. So they are here, and I'm not too worried about them because Jokic is a very good Giannis defender. We've dealt with Dame before in the playoffs, so I'm not really worried about that. Even though Dame is like super scary in the playoffs, like we've conquered that demon. I have no problem facing them in the playoffs or in the finals. And then, of course, at the top, we got the gold standard, our Denver Nuggets. Am I a Denver Nuggets fan? Probably biased, probably. Yeah, I would say that's probably a fair assumption. At the end of the day, the Denver Nuggets, I believe, are the best team in the league, even as unbiased as I could possibly get, which is why I started the show, because I can be unbiased about them and they're still the funnest shit to talk about. Yeah, so they're the best team in the league, like straight up. All right, guys, so let's get into our weekly review. Monday, January 1st. That is tomorrow night. New Year's Day at home. We are playing the Charlotte Hornets. We bring in the new year, playing a very bad team. We should be able to win. Nikola Jokic averages 21.8 points, 13.6 rebounds, and 7.2 assists in his 17 games against the Hornets in his career. LaMelo Ball is averaging 17.7 points, 6.8 assists, and 6.3 rebounds in his 6 games versus the Nuggets in his career. LaMelo is averaging 25, 5.5, and 8. Terry Rozier is averaging 23. Brandon Miller's rookie year has been a bit of a disappointment so far. He's averaging 14.5 a game and 4 rebounds. LaMelo missed the game against Denver on the 23rd with a bum ankle, and chances are he's probably going to miss against us this week as well. The Nuggets just played them on the 23rd of December, to which we won 102-95. MPJ led the team that game with 22 points, and Jokic threw in a somber double, 18, 10, and 9. The Hornets got off to a hot start. Nick Smith Jr., he totaled 19 points on 5 of 7 from 3, but Denver kept it close enough in the first half, and they were able to go on a huge run in the third after Charlotte started the third quarter 0 of 20 and cracked it wide open. Charlotte, as of now, is on a 7-game losing streak, but they do have multiple injuries to a lot of the main guys on the team. Like I said, LaMelo Ball is going to be missing some time and will be probably missing this game against us. But the thing is, they're not that talented as it is. They are 7-21 for a reason. I personally believe they might be a seller at the deadline. Thursday, January 4th, the Golden State Warriors in San Francisco. Golden State is 15-16. They're having a pretty rough year. Steph is averaging 23.8, 5.8, and 4.5 in 42 career games against the Nuggets. Jokic is averaging 18.8, 10.6, and 6.6 in his 28 games versus the Warriors. We just beat them on Christmas, 120-114. Jamal Murray had a 28-point game, and he was looking like prime Steph Curry. The Warriors just went on a 5-game winning streak, including a big overtime win against Boston at home. But the other 4 games that they had won on that road trip were against Brooklyn, Washington, and Portland twice. And 4 or 5 of them were at home. They ran into our Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat, and then they lost both of them, showing that the roster just isn't that good. And they're going to struggle against the top competition in this league, at least without a move. Wiggins has played like booty, and Kuminga has basically taken his spot. So they're looking into a Wiggins trade. 27 games so far in. Wiggins is averaging 12.6 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 42% from the field, and 30% from 3. Meanwhile, Kuminga is essentially playing the same role and having like a career year. So they're looking to trade Wiggins. Here are 4 trades that go kind of bigger as they go on, but they're all pretty decent that I read somewhere. Wiggins to Indiana for Buddy Hield and Obi Toppin. Wiggins to New Orleans for Herb Jones and Larry Nance Jr. Andrew Wiggins to Chicago for DeMar DeRozan. I guess Chicago gets younger in that trade, and I do like DeMar on the Warriors, though. That would be really cool. That'd be a good fit. Wiggins to Portland for Jeremy Grant. So out of those 4, you let me know who you guys would like to see Wiggins traded for. I don't know if he can get like a DeRozan or Jeremy Grant, but if they can get somebody like that, I think those are pretty good trades for them. Side note, Pajamski's playing really well as well. He just became the first Warriors rookie since Chris Webber to tally 200 plus points, 100 plus rebounds, and 75 assists in his first 25 games of his career. So shout out to Pods. And GP2 should be returning. He came back on the 30th after a 13-game absence because of a calf injury, but he is on a minutes restriction, so he'll probably be on a minutes restriction against the Nuggets. Friday, January 5th, we are back at home to play the Orlando Magic. Nikola Jokic is averaging 18.4 points, 10.4 rebounds, and 6.6 assists in his 15 games versus the Magic in his career. Paolo Banchero in his 3 games versus the Nuggets is averaging 17.3, 5.0 rebounds, and 3.3 assists. The last time we played the Magic was November 22nd, to which the Magic won 124 to 119, despite Nikola Jokic putting up a 30, 13, and 12 stat line. Orlando's really good. The Orlando Magic will be coming to Denver after a West Coast road trip. They are going to play the Suns, then the Warriors, then the Kings, then us. So, they're probably going to be pretty tired by the time they play us. Hopefully that's an advantage because I do think that they are a very tough matchup for Denver. Orlando is one of the best success stories of this season. They really came from the bottom and are here. After going 22-60 in 2021, they drafted Paolo Banchero with the number 1 overall pick, and they haven't looked back. Last year, they finished 34-48, and this year are already 19-12, good for the 4th best record in the East. They are young, they are athletic, they have a lot of talented defensive options, and Paolo might be the number 1 pick in that team, but I believe Franz Wagner is the best player on that team. Right now, he's averaging 21, 6, and 4 on 47, 29, 85 splits. If he can get that 3 up to like 35% or more, like this dude's going to be a star. He's going to be a star. He and Paolo bring a ton of size. They're both 6'10", big dudes. They can both get buckets. They both got handles. They both can pass. They're really good players. Jokic will also be playing against well-known Nikola Jokic stopper, Wendell Carter Jr. I say that half jokingly. It's a game at home, so the Nuggets bench will need to, take a big step up and help this team out and get them past the Magic. Sunday, January 7th, we are at home against the Detroit Pistons, the team that everybody thought the Nuggets were going to lose to, but it doesn't matter because they just broke their losing streak. Nikola Jokic is averaging 20.6 points, 8.9 rebounds, and 6.3 assists in his 16 games versus the Pistons in his career. Cade Cunningham is averaging 26.3, 8.3 assists, and 5 rebounds in his 3 games against the Nuggets in his career. Maybe this is the reason why I'm a Cade believer and everybody else isn't, because those stats are ridiculous. Like I said, Detroit is coming in after snapping a 28-game losing streak on December 30th. Cade went off for 30 and 12 in the 129-127 victory over the Raptors. There was some speculation and conversations on the interwebs about Detroit trading Cade away. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think he needs a new fresh start? Do you think it'd be fair to trade him away and just build around somebody else? You guys let me know what you think. I think he's a talented guy. I think he helped win that game for Detroit against Toronto. 30 and 12 is like a really good game, and they put up 130 nearly. So, he can do it. I think it's just about him taking the responsibility up. Asar Thompson, right? Another one like that. Jalen Duren, I think he's another one like that. I think they just need an actual core guy, which they might get in this next draft, right? They're the worst team in the league probably right now. I'm pretty sure they are. So, yeah, we'll see. Buzelis or Holland or something, maybe one of those guys can take him over the top. But at the end of the day, one of them guys are going to have to learn how to hit a 3. So, Cade's going to have to learn to shoot, or Asar. I don't think Jalen will. He's young enough. Maybe he will. Somebody's got to learn how to shoot on that goddamn team. But with that said, it's already a show running long. So let me get you out of here. You guys have a great day. I appreciate you. Happy New Year. 2024 blessings to you guys. I really, really hope you guys get everything and accomplish everything that you want in this year and more. You guys deserve it. You guys are the best ever. Shout out to all you guys. Let's go Nuggets. Bye.